Hello and welcome to ComSpark Magazine interview series. My name is Audra Petrozello. I am a client director with Ahead, located here in Columbus, Ohio. We are partnering with ComSpark Magazine in a series of CIO interviews. So today I have the pleasure of talking with Catherine Allshouse. She's the global CIO and head of cloud operations at Veeva. So Catherine, thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to having the opportunity to ask you a few questions.
Yes, thank you very much, Audra, for the opportunity. I'm happy to be here.
So I know the goal of today is really just to get to know you and your career path, why you made some of the decisions you've made, kind of who inspires you, and not to kind of give it away, but I love the last question of, what would you tell yourself at 25, right? So we can just jump right into it. If you wouldn't mind kind of introducing yourself, your name, organization, job title, things like that, that'd be great.
Sure. So I'm the global CIO and head of operations at Veeva Systems. And in that responsibility and position, I'm responsible for internal IT, our production data center for our product, security in the CISO's organization, our quality and compliance teams, and global facilities and corporate real estate.
Awesome. And how long have you been at Veeva?
So I've been at Veeva about 4 years now.
Awesome. Great. Would you mind telling us a little bit more about yourself, like kind of personally, your career path, kind of what got you here? That'd be great.
Sure, no problem. So I'm a former engineer. I have a computer science degree and always loved math. So in fact, so much so that in college, I actually took Calculus 3 as an elective because I thought it was fun. After that, math got a little too theoretical and less kind of one answer, right? Which is why I loved math. And I found my way to computer science through that. And then over time, as I really kind of learned and grew, I figured out I was learning more actually through the soft side, people, leadership. So both of those were kind of loves for me. At the time, if you were a developer, what you did is you went off to seek your fortune in Silicon Valley. So that's what I did. I moved out to California. I worked for Anderson Consulting at the time for a few years, and then I connected with PeopleSoft. So I spent the majority of the first part of my career out in California with PeopleSoft. I did miss the IPO, unfortunately, by about 6 months, which is sad, but it was a wonderful company and a wonderful experience. I kind of grew up in that Silicon Valley engineering culture. I'm a Unix sysadmin, Oracle DBA, coder, product owner, and then later at PeopleSoft executive leader of many of those types of teams there. Then I decided to move to Ohio, and that was for family reasons. And we're big believers in public school systems, and we wanted to find a place that just had excellent public education to raise kids. So mission accomplished, did that, raised 2 wonderful girls, both Buckeyes. After moving, I ran a startup here in Ohio. I took a turn through Big IT, the Kroger company, which is a very financially well-run company. Learned a lot about how Big IT runs because I sold into it and serviced it, but never been in it. So that was an absolutely wonderful education experience. Then I decided to get off the corporate train for a little bit. And I went to work for a nonprofit. I found one that I felt had great promise and really good meaning. They were after getting access to a great public education to all kids in America, regardless of zip code. So the Knowledge Works Foundation was a great experience for me as well. Then, as life does sometimes, went full circle, and I ended up here at Veeva working for my former PeopleSoft boss. So that's what brought me to Veeva originally. So keep your network up. Those old contacts and connections definitely follow you for a lifetime if you maintain them. Now I feel like I'm really at a place that has kind of all 3 of the things that I've always looked for, which is a technology, difficult challenge in technology, leadership, and then meaning.
Wonderful. So, and I saw that Veeva is technically headquartered in California. So maybe you have the best of both worlds. Yes, some of your kind of past cultural experiences in here. I'd be interested to kind of hear your thoughts on, kind of the IT trends and what hits kind of California and how long it takes to kind of come over to the Midwest, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. Actually, Viva's headquartered about 6 blocks from PeopleSoft's headquarters. So it's definitely a small world. So trend wise, I think we've sort of seen, right, the client server transition to what we called hosted applications. And then that became full on software as a service. And today we call it cloud computing, whether that's the infrastructure or the software itself. There's kind of two models of cloud. So that transition over time is exactly what we've seen inside IT departments as well. One of my favorite, I also like to think of myself, in addition to bringing Silicon Valley to the Midwest, I like to think of myself as bringing Midwest to the Silicon Valley too.
Oh, there we go.
One of my favorite statistics is that 80% of the lines of code in the world are written outside Silicon Valley. So the IT departments and the custom applications that are driving the world's largest businesses and our businesses here in Ohio, those are crafted, internally. So all of the trends like agile over time, those have been adopted really quickly, actually, by these big in-house development shops. And over time, with the advent of cloud, we'll see, what that trend brings. We're 100% cloud. So I do have an interesting sort of point of view, I suppose, with having 0 servers anywhere in our entire enterprise and IT. Or the product, definitely some different implications for that inside how Viva runs and in the business itself. I don't have rackers and stackers. I don't have, that's not what my infrastructure team does. They get to focus on other stuff. So yes, that transition, I think, is kind of that's hard. The larger and older your company is, the harder that is. For new companies, why would you not go 100% cloud? If you're 15 years old or less, you're 100% cloud, or you're not doing it right. But for the larger companies, you've got a lot of work to do to think about what transitions and when.
Yeah, makes sense. Could you tell us a little bit more about Viva, kind of industry size, product services that you sell, and probably more importantly, what challenges you're taking on from a technical perspective in your industry?
Yeah, sure. So global Silicon Valley enterprise cloud software company. We're at about 5,000 employees and 1.5 billion in revenue. And we make software for the life sciences sector. So 47 of the 50 largest global pharmas are Viva customers. So think Pfizer, Moderna, Merck, up and comers too, like Forge Biologics in Columbus. So that's biogenetics, medical devices, kind of, that whole field. So the recent COVID vaccines and all of the treatments for those, went through Viva software on their way to FDA and EMA approval. We also sell that same software outside life sciences for non-discrete manufacturing. So think chemicals, food, beverage, cosmetics, really any of those quality systems that control manufacturing is what our software does. So basically it manages the whole R&D process from a chemist's idea for a new molecule to the launch of an approved product, and then the entire commercial product process of managing sales and customer relationship management. In fact, I think 80% of the FDA approved drugs now go through Viva for their approval each year.
Wow,
so that's kind of what we do. It's hard to find a pharma rep anywhere in the world not on Viva CRM. We have set up Columbus actually as our big U.S. regional hub. So we're super excited. We've been here for about 2 years. We're super excited to have this presence here. We chose Columbus for many reasons, but we are definitely hiring. That's one other thing about Viva. So software developers for core product. It's a tough interview with any Silicon Valley company, but awesome company. Security, product support, finance. I need a talent attraction person, IT. With all that, though, the proudest thing I would say for me that I am proud of about Viva is our recent conversion to a public benefit corporation. So that's different than a B Corp. The PBC is a new Delaware company format where we're not only accountable now to shareholder value, we also are accountable to a public benefit purpose. So it changes nothing on the shareholder and stock and public company side, but it adds this public benefit purpose. And ours is creating high quality employment opportunities and making the industries we serve more productive. So there's that meaning piece of it to me. So that means as Viva gets increasingly more important to life sciences and their mission to improve health and well-being, we take that really seriously. And we work to change government, like getting them to accept digital signatures for clinical trials, for example. And this also just lets our employees know that they work for a company that's not all about the money and is focused instead on making a positive society impact. So that's just kind of a little bit about Viva and who we are. For me, that's how it brought everything together. So technology, tough technology challenges, meaning, and in a role where I could provide some leadership.